What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? The NFL has spoken, has come down with a ruling in regards to the Brian Branch situation at the end of yesterday's game. He is going to be suspended for one game without pay. This is coming from Adam Schefter. Detroit Lions defensive back Brian Branch has been suspended without pay for one game for unsportsmanlike conduct following Sunday's game against the Kansas City Chiefs. If you've been living under a rock and you're a Detroit Lions fan and you have no idea what I'm talking about, end of the game. Chiefs, victory formation. Juju Smith-Schuster is all the way in the background as the emergency guy. Patrick Mahomes takes a snap, takes a knee. Time to shake hands. Game's over. Time to move on. Brian Branch walked up to Juju Smith-Schuster, and at first I thought it was a punch. From the angle I watched late last night, it was someone recording in the stands from up above. It looked like a punch. But up close, it was I guess we'll call it a slap, face shove. But anyway, ensues a brawl breaking out, a little skirmish. I'm not going to defend Brian Branch. I'm not. Is my guy. Listen, love you. Mistakes happen. You're a grown man, made mistakes. We've all been there. Unfortunately, your mistakes are they're seen by millions of people, whereas us, we live in our homes and our mistakes are kind of usually just kept to ourselves. That's the unfortunate thing about this is everyone's going to have an opinion on your mistake. What I'd like to see is for you to move forward with this, take the punishment. I know you're going to probably appeal. I don't think it'll be an appeal that Brian Branch is going to win. So we're looking like we're not going to have BB for Monday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I'm not going to beat Brian Branch up, man. He's a guy who made a mistake. I'm sure he knows he made a mistake. I thought he started handling it right immediately last night with answering the questions that everyone had in the locker room. He could have gave some nasty, shitty answers. He could have hid. He could have done a lot of things, but he stood up there and he took it. He answered the questions. He got in front of the microphone. His coach probably gave him a very, very, very stern talking to, either Dan Campbell, Kelvin Shepard, or both, and maybe some other leaders on the team probably pulled him aside and coached him up. So I'm sure that stuff like that happened. Again, I'm sorry that this mistake happened. You're a public figure. It's something we're talking about because this move hurts the team. I thought it was completely uncalled for, completely unprofessional. The game's over. Move on. I get it. Juju took a couple cheap shots at you during the game, but the difference is that happened during the game. The NFL is really, really pushing this sportsmanlike conduct policy. We saw it, I think it was week one, Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles, before the game even really starts, getting in Dak Prescott's face, spitting on him, ejected from the game. I feel like if Jalen Carter wasn't ejected for that, he would have been suspended for another game. But I think the NFL chalked that up as, hey, we're just going to count this as his suspension. We've seen a lot of taunting penalties be getting called all around the league. Whatever your feelings are about that, I get it. You can't get up in someone's face and celebrate. Kind of odd considering yesterday's game and a lot of things I saw. But, hey, it is what it is. The difference is this is going to cost Brian Branch a paycheck. It's going to cost him a game. It's going to cost the Detroit Lions having to find someone to fill his replacement on a big Monday night game we got coming up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game, I think, is more important than the Kansas City Chiefs. If I'm being honest with you, this is a game that could have seeding implications. It could be a game that we could see these two teams in the playoffs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are no joke. They always come into town. They always play us tough. When we go there, they play us tough. We've played them like 3 or 4 times the past 2-3 seasons. It's almost a little rivalry where they gave us one of our only 2 losses last year, so I'm not sleeping on them. I know that they got some dudes banged up right now. They're missing their receivers, some running backs, but they still got a well-coached defense. They still got Baker Mayfield, who's playing like an MVP. So us not having Brian Branch, in no way does this help the Detroit Lions. So I'm just going to take a look at the depth chart here, and I think what would make me feel better from a personnel standpoint is knowing who's going to be playing safety. Is it going to be Rocky Sean? Is it going to be Avonte Maddox, who didn't play yesterday because he's been banged up? I would be okay with that for one game. And I know that that's all the suspension is, but in a big game like this, like I said, where we're talking about a potential matchup down the road with the team that is very, very tough against us, they're just The Buccaneers are loaded. Okay, they're like an ugly, gritty team that I feel like doesn't get talked about a whole lot. And I said it the other day. I hate how much I love Baker Mayfield. I'm just cheering for that dude, but not this week, not while he's playing the Detroit Lions. But I love his story. I love his style of play. Um, he's a tough opponent, man. He's a gamer. He's a physical quarterback. He's not afraid to lay his body out there and take some hits and get every extra yard that he can for his team. So I respect the hell out of his game. He's going to come in here Ford Field amped up. It's going to be one of the bigger Monday night matchups, I think, of the year. This is one at home, luckily, where we have a home crowd advantage. But Brian Branch, man, I just don't know. Again, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I know we kind of went through some maturity issues with Jameson Williams very, very recently. This is just something that I really hope Brian Branch learns from, because it kind of goes back to the Packers game last year when he got tossed out of that game, bogus it. And I don't even think it was a dirty play or anything like that. I think the refs had something in their minds and they wanted to get him out of that game. But just leaving and flipping off the crowd, it's cool. It's fun. We won that game. It's great. But there's some stuff there with Brian Branch. But his play on the field is exceptional. I think we just got to clear up some maturity stuff. That's really what it comes down to for me. I've never questioned his ability. I feel like every time we do an episode, we never have to talk about Brian Branch. And if we do, it's in a positive way of a big play he made or him locking down a tight end or a running back or a big hit he put on someone. It's never, oh, Brian Branch was in the wrong position or BB got beat or he did something stupid. But this was stupid, what he did. Uncalled for. Dan Campbell got in front of the cameras yesterday, too, and told us that it was inexcusable, that this type of stuff wasn't the Detroit Lions way. He apologized to the Kansas City Chiefs, rightfully so. Listen, there's a time and place to settle beefs on a football field, and it's during the game. When the game's over, I get it, man. He's a gamer. He's an athlete. He's a pro. But obviously he's shown that you can get under his skin, and I think other teams are just going to start poking and prodding at that all season now. They're going to be looking to get under Brian Branch's skin and do something to where maybe they invoke him to do something and cause a 15-yard penalty or something else that hurts the team. So he's got to learn. He's got to learn from this and say, got to cool my jets, man. I got to just shut up, play football, keep my head on. Don't pay any attention to the trash talk or Juju doing his stupid dances in my face, which is, unsportsmanlike conduct now. We just talked about it, but the NFL is not looking at the Chiefs. They're only looking at the Lions in this situation. Not to be bitter. I'm still a little upset about yesterday's loss, so I'm not going to lie to you guys. Brian Branch is one of my favorite players, okay? On defense, I think he's the second most important player on the team, right after Aiden Hutchinson. Hutch, BB, equally important, but I just feel like pass rush is just my cup of tea. But when I take away Hutch, like I did last year, Brian Branch was the best player on that defense. He's needed. He needs to step up, be a leader, take the suspension, take the bye week. That's essentially 2 weeks off, heal up, clear your mind. I don't know what's going on. That's another thing. I think a lot of times we forget that these are human beings. We just look at them sometimes as football players. What are they doing on the field? Are they hurting the team, helping the team? Maybe Brian Branch has something going on in his personal life. And I don't know. This is purely speculation. It could be all sunshines and rainbows. I don't know, man. But people have lives. Stuff affects us. You go to work. Sometimes you got to check it at the door when you come home if you've had a bad day and not take it out on the family, and vice versa. If you're having a bad day with some family stuff or there's a family member who's bad health or in trouble or something's going on and you take it to work, it could be a distraction. I get it. And maybe that's the case. Again, I have no idea. I have no inside information. I'm just looking at a kid or a man. He's not a kid. He's a grown man. He's an adult. This was just a stupid mistake. Can't happen again. It hurts the team. We have to find a way to get through Tampa Bay. The only good thing about this is I think now he gets 2 weeks off, and he's been dealing with some injury stuff. So maybe this is a good thing. He gets essentially 2 bye weeks now. One will be without pay. But maybe that's like the kind of like a blessing in disguise is Brian Branch, heal up. It's a long season. After the bye, I think we have Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. So a division game. I'm going to need you on that one. We'll have to find a way to get through Tampa Bay. They're banged up as well, but that's no excuse. I'm sure that they're not using it as an excuse. We're banged up. They're banged up. They're 5-1, 4-2. This is a massive game coming up. 24-hour rule is officially over after this episode. All right, I've been doom and gloom. I'm pissed off that the Lions lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. they have the 24-hour rule. It's time to get back to work. Next episode, we're going to start getting into either some news or we'll see what's happening with the Detroit Lions. I know Lee McNeil's coming back this week, I think. We're going to be talking about some of that. We'll see if the Lions make some roster news. We'll see how the injury reports look, and we'll be a little bit more upbeat from here on. But I needed to take this 24 hours and just kind of have a little pity party for myself, guys. Thanks for watching. Stick around, hit that like button. Be back later with another show.